You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from right here in absolutely gorgeous Northport, Florida. And we do have a gorgeous day today. So, on your way home, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the roads, and slow it down and get home safe. We are heading into a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and we don't want to see anyone get hurt on the road. It is a great, great, great Friday. And I've got my very good friend Peter Bartolotta in the house, and we're going to kind of review some things and talk about Northport in general. But Peter, tell people what we're going to be reviewing today.
Okay, back in the day, I guess it was what 2007, 2008. Vision Northport got involved in a lot of neat stuff, um, and a lot of really amazing people were in the organization. And we basically stood for a simple premise, and that was to create a forum for dialogue, to get people to talk. And what they talked about is what they would like to see in their city. Well, there's a guy by the name of Ron Sanders who took it a little further and literally did this on his own. He used Vision Northport, I think, more as an outlet, a testing vehicle. But he put together a presentation um, called the Shops at Toledo Blade. And it was a downtown area that would be regional in its appeal. Um, and I had mentioned that on a number of occasions, how you need a fairly strong urban population to support a downtown district. So we tossed around the concept of what would happen if we made it regional and made a regional entertainment district. And Ron put this package together, and it blew my mind. It still blows my mind. The phase one plan provided for over 350,000 square feet of retail, shopping, and entertainment, 24,000 square feet of lakeside waterfront dining, and 16,000 square feet of commercial office space. Now, Ron is an artist. I mean, like a guy that paints. His art is phenomenal. If you look him up, Ron Sanders, I believe it's Sanders. And he's able to paint a picture, a portrait of somebody, and it looks like a photograph. Just wow. Super talented guy. The art center, he was there all the time. I think he has since left Northport, which is a true loss. And he took this plan to the city, went all over the place, talked to staff, talked to city managers, talked to commissioners. Just, there's nobody in the city, I don't believe, that has anything to do with planning that doesn't know about this plan. And I just about a week or two or three, in the last couple of weeks, I saw something in the paper that talked about 110 acres or something behind the where the pizza place is, where the Rock Box is, Pink Tequila. In that area, there's 100 acres behind that the city was looking to put together some light industrial warehousing, some mixed use, which to me, more often than not, it's affordable housing, and some retail. And I called some commissioners. I said, "What the heck is going on? Why aren't you guys implementing this plan?" So I sent the plan to them. They've all seen it. It's not like it's new, but there's nobody championing it. And I sent it to you, John, and said, "Hey, let the people know this is a plan." I don't know if you can skip ahead to the schematic of what's in it. I mean, he did all the demographic work to attract people, but go to the one that shows the keep going. I mean, just a lot of back. Okay, go back. Okay, so this is the area that we were looking at. There's Toledo Blade, okay, on the corner there of Price Boulevard.
Right.
Okay. Behind it, you see that lake? There's a natural lake feature there. And there's 100, I believe it was 110 acres behind it. So
That's where the city compound is, right?
I'm not sure what's there. There was a fire there about a year ago.
Well,
Uh,
the city compound is down towards Chamberlain.
oh, no, no, no. The city compound is further west on Price, where
Okay.
where they the utility where the vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a little more further. Okay, this is kind of behind the pizza place, Caesar's Pizza,
Yep.
Little Caesar.
Yep.
Okay, you can see the shopping center in there on the corner of Price and Toledo. Um, and that property was a part of the master plan for Meineke. And the owners of the property, who was it now? The president of the real estate company, Collier Realty, called me when we were talking about this with the Economic Development Corporation. And he said, you can't do that. That land is all under multiple ownership. But we got their attention. But so what if it's under multiple ownership? Get the owners together and cut a deal. So anyway, keep going. Go forward. Okay, this is the area. So in here, and if you really were able to take a good look at this, he's got hotels, miniature golf, restaurants galore, music venues, a place where you could go and take the family and spend a day, and at the end of the day leave, and you've just had a good old time. And we've had this plan for probably going on, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years, and nothing's ever been done with it. So I just wanted to, open it up, and hopefully there are people listening in right now and get their ideas and thoughts on this. But there's hotels in here, and I mean, we weren't talking about, low cost hotel nights. There were some major, we could put major hotels in. He had parking garages because it's limited space. And this guy's an artist.
Well,
and he put this together. It's amazing.
It's limited space, but it's a beautiful location.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we're going to give it away. We'll wind up with another shopping center, another mattress store, some apartment buildings, and some more light industrial warehousing. When people say light industrial warehousing, to me, that's the lawnmower capital of the world. That is not employment. That's 1 and 2 man shops. They're not people that are driving the economy with major employment opportunities. Okay, they're small businesses. But we keep giving away any usable land that we've got, and we don't drive visions. We don't drive an agenda for anything. I had a meeting with Sid Kitson a while back, and I brought some government officials out to meet him. And his story was, you will have obstacles before you that will be Herculean to get over. Keep fighting for your vision. Keep fighting for your plan. Babcock Ranch didn't happen because Sid's got money, or it happened because he fought hard for it. And he told story after story after story about the difficult time he had. Now you look at it and it's like, oh, gee, well, he had this and he had that. No, he didn't. I knew Sid back in the day when he didn't have any of that stuff. His vision never changed. Well, we never changed.
We were talking about Sid before Babcock Ranch broke ground.
That's right.
That's right. And now that it's broken ground, we're still talking about Sid.
Yeah.
But in a completely different manner.
Yeah. And now he's got this super success. And, I'll tell you a funny story now. And I don't think he minds me. I won't tell it. Never mind. It's not for me to tell. It's for him to tell. But how difficult it is to meet the people that can make things happen. But he didn't quit. He just kept putting himself in front of them until ultimately they got on board.
what's it going to take? We've got these parcels now that they're talking about. We've got Wormrel Springs, we've got the 100 acres there. We've got 8 corners of a freeway now that are going to be opening up for transition with Sumter and Toledo Blade. Um, and the we talked about this, or at least the city talked about this the other night within Northport Forward's meeting, that if you're not on board with what's happening, and at least giving your input on the change is going to occur whether you're a participant in it or not, because we're kind of, as a city, we're rolling now, and we're not skipping along. And I kind of put our city in the same trajectory as Babcock Ranch, because our city's now been found. We are one of the fastest growing cities in the country. We are shakers and movers here. Uh, every one of those things explain Babcock Ranch, and the difference is we've been plotted out and we're still plotted out. Sid kind of helped design that down there and create that environment, but we as citizens can still get involved here and kind of help, you know, push these ideas and these concepts out into the community, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm losing faith, to be honest with you. I've certainly been in touch with community leaders, in touch with commissioners, in touch with city managers. They all know me. Um, I know people that can get these things done, and then I see them. They take Dallas White Park and give its development over to Collier. Collier is a real estate agency. That's all. That's what they are. They sold them a bill of goods on how they're a marketing company. They're not a marketing company. They market real estate, but they're not a planner. They're not somebody who can create a vision. They put the look at what they did with Warm Mineral Springs. Ashley, nice guy. He's a real estate agent. The company that was in there, their main claim to fame is they're a demolition company. They helped demolish sections of the Chicago airport. They have no background in ecotourism or any of that. And now they backed out of the plan. So, you've got to have the right people, and you got to know how to reach those people. We don't seem to put visions together. We don't seem to put plans together, and we suck at putting the right people together to make the plans happen.
What's it going to take to get the right people?
I don't know anymore. And I don't know if there's any property. I was listening to some of the Northport Forward's tour of the city and the city leaders talking. And I'm not sure I agree that the city is, I would not put Northport and Babcock Ranch in the same sentence. The major difference, when Babcock Ranch was a 90,000 acre ranch and Sid carved out 20 acres of it to build a city, his vision for that city, and I can tell you firsthand, it did not deviate 1 centimeter. And that took over 15 years to develop, to get it where it is today. And if you look at the plans back in when it started, they are the same. 99% of it is exactly what he said it was going to be. You show me the city's plan. There is none. We get developed the way developers want to develop us. They buy the land and then they put in what they can because its zoning says they can do it. And that's the argument they always say. And other places do it. Other communities do it.
You're not wrong about that. The common thing that we've always heard, and I was part of Vision Northport before, and things were supposed to be different, and there's something to be said about talking about the past so you don't do the same thing in the future. And we're tending to not do the same thing in the future, but we're also not. Um, I don't know that we truly have a defined look for what we're going for.
We don't.
And that's a great question, and I'm going to ask that for sure.
You know,
And and I,
and
go ahead.
the argument, John, is we're a platted community. We have limited property. So okay, I agree with that. So what do we do as a city? What do? We give away 5,700 acres in Orange Hammock. Gave it away free of charge to another government agency. So we lost the tax revenue on that. We didn't even get a discount on the water, but we gave it away. What did we do with Warm Mineral Springs? How long has that been on the city's payroll? And we still can't get it right because they don't bring the right people to the table. They bring
Well,
the wrong people.
that was
Yeah.
a hot topic the other night because there to this day there are still people that don't want anything done there, and that's a really select few, and most of them don't even belong in the city boundaries.
No,
So they're not really they're utilizing the War Mineral Springs itself, but they're not paying for tax dollars to go into it, because they're not really part of our city. They're just outside the boundary.
yeah, but John, do this. You know,
They're
when
they
we
still are
when
having
this
a voice.
yeah when
And
Northport reaches out
go ahead.
to the citizens, they typically hire Kimley Horn, and they wind up asking the citizens what do they want. I've been to so many of them, I don't go anymore because the last person it's like going to get your heart surgery and checking with your baker to see if he has any ideas on how they should do this. You put the right people around the table. Look what the city of Sarasota did. They hired Dwayne, an architect, the guy that put together Punta Gorda and other cities, created the visual look that they were going to have. It cost them, I know it cost Team Punta Gorda $250,000 for that plan. We spend $50,000 and $100,000 and think it's a lot of money, and we wind up with a planning company that knows how to put code together for the land. That's not what you want. You want visionaries, and we keep doing the same thing over and over again. We haven't learned. We've got a piece of property, Warm Mineral Springs. They don't know what to do with it. We have a piece of property, Dallas White Park. They don't know what to do with it. We have a piece of property with this 100 acres. They don't know what to do with it. I'm sorry. I mean, I would challenge them and ask them that question.
So if we
And
have anybody out there listening that wants to comment, please feel free on Facebook. Uh, Real Talk 97.5 is how you do it. And I'm definitely going to flash your questions or comments or concerns up if you make them on any of the channels. But um, I want to thank everybody for listening to WKDW 97.5 FM in Northport, and also, we've got to find, and we had it, but we've still got to find a way to get citizens involved. Northport Forward has been doing a really good job, and there were at least 30, 40 people uh, present for that meeting. Lots of Q&A afterwards, but it's also posted on Real Talk. But it's people need to just get involved more. They have got to start asking questions and telling them what they're looking for. Now, some of this private entity that's out there, you're right. It may be a strategic plan that has to be put together to draw the owners all together. But one corner at a time changes everything. But if we don't do anything with that piece on Toledo Blade, and it ends up being warehouse, the visual effect of that loss is detrimental to anything like a restaurant being backed up to there, or a music venue being backed up to there, to give an ambiance that we don't have the natural effect of water in abundance to be giving away. Or to, in this case, we're not giving it away. It's already owned, but we still have to look at that as holy cow, if we promote the wrong thing going in there, man, a warehouse, who's going to enjoy the water? Who's going to enjoy that view? It is a gorgeous view. And we don't have that waterway. We don't have that look in
The,
Northport.
the reason we don't, and here's what I challenge every elected official, every staff member when I see him, and I stopped doing it now, but what is the plan? Draw me the picture of of what Northport's going to look like. This is a plan. This is very specific. Lakeside viewing decks, chess tables between. It's very specific. Okay. Now, when you get that and the people say, I like that idea, then go out and find a developer that can build it for you. Instead, we let the developers come to us like we did with Warm Mineral Springs with an unsolicited proposal. And we said, what do you think we should do with it? Well, they're going to tell you. And guaranteed what they're going to tell you is what's financially viable for them.
That's true.
It's not going to be the vision of Northport, because you got to have a vision to start with. You got to tell them what it is. They should take this plan and figure out a piece of property in Northport that they will buy to make this plan happen.
Well, the plan's there.
It's all there, and it's gone up and down the ladder in the city for decades now. And it's still, and they're not here. They're taking property, and they're not implementing their plan. And don't give me this BS about coding and zoning and all of that stuff, because you can modify that. Go out and find the developer that can do this. I don't think staff knows who the developers are that can do this.
Do you know if staff has ever been tasked with that?
I know I've spoken to staff, and I can tell you I have yet to find somebody who thinks this way. They always give you the same answer. We can't do anything. It's a zoning. And they're not going to say, I don't know who to call. But you ever read the book 6 Degrees of wait. You ever hear the term 6 degrees of separation?
Yes.
You're 6 people away from knowing everybody in the world. So if you know there's this idiot called Peter Bartolotta, right? He knows a lot of guys.
Nothing like throwing yourself under the bus.
Okay. Do you know how many times I've been called? Do I know anybody I can talk to? 0.
Right.
I don't think they have the guts to say, I don't know, I need some help, and then reach out. I introduced them to Sid Kitson. Do you think Sid, and he gave them his cell phone. Do you think any of them called him and said, hey, Sid, I want to do something. Do you know anybody that can help me on this? I'll guarantee you nobody's called them. They don't have a relationship building. They're internal to themselves. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. It's just the way it is.
What's going to change that?
I don't know. I've been doing this way too long. I'm getting too old. I don't see the passion in the city. I don't see the leadership in the city. I don't know.
What do you think it's going to take to change it, though? What needs to be? What are some of the things that need to be asked and done by more? I think more so the commission. The commission. Is this a commission thing that has to direct staff to do these things? Because we're actually saying staff isn't doing it. Well, staff doesn't do anything unless they're directed to do it.
That's the same line we're given. But the leadership and staff, Jerome can step up and say, wait a minute, guys, we've got this plan over here. This looks interesting. He had an opportunity with Warm Mineral Springs. What did he do with it?
Well, I think he's frustrated by it, to tell you the truth.
But frustrated is one thing. We showed him a plan. I put people together, brought it to the city.
Well, is that?
I'm not sure what it takes anymore. I'm lost. I'm totally lost. And I hate to say that and admit it on your show, but I'm lost. I don't know what to do anymore. I think we got an election coming up. Make sure you elect the right people and get on those commissioners' backs and demand that we have a plan and use this as an example. If you can post this somewhere where people can see it, the use it as an example. This is something the average resident of Northport can read and say, I like it or I don't like it. Don't give me code. Don't give me ULDC. Don't give me comp plan bullshit. Show me pretty pictures and then go build it.
Well, and I think that all works. It's worked in every other city over time. There's been adjustments made, and you're right. There's always adjustments made within the code and rewrites and different things that we're doing. Um, that piece that's at the corner of Toledo, Blade, and Price, so that's individually owned at this point, but none of the owners are attempting to even do anything. They're selling it.
Which is what they're going to do.
Right. So now we just got to find the right developer to buy it and develop it and turn it.
Or get the owners on board.
Or get the owners on board.
Get a legacy. What the point is, and the point that was made with Sid is have a plan. And don't get deterred from that plan. I don't believe we have a plan.
I was talking about Academy Sports.
Yeah.
Back in 08, 09. Yep. And I told you about them because they were up in Pensacola and my son was going up. Now they're building in Sarasota. And yep. we've never reached out to them. I know that. And not that we were prepared for them, but we are running water. We're one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. We're going to outpopulate that area up there for sure. But there's something to be said about the location that they picked. I will say that that location up in the University Parkway area, it's a completely developed corridor of shopping madness. Just it's crazy what they've done, but I'm gonna go back and say the same thing that I think you're saying is there was definitely some planning that went into that and some focus and some drive to make it like it is today. And and I think what you're saying is we're lacking in that right now in any of our corners.
Yeah, and if the argument is we're a platted community, which is what I keep hearing, and I've heard this, I've been here since 1993. There were 12,000 people when I moved here in Northport. And back then they were saying the same thing. We are platted. So, well, if you're a platted community, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Buy the land.
Right.
Buy the land. Stop putting the money away and buying the land. And we don't do that. Now we're buying land out by Yorkshire, and people are saying, let's do it at Yorkshire. But when Yorkshire is ready to develop, there will be people standing up saying, I don't want that in my backyard. It's hard. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. And I don't think we've got the people that are willing to put themselves on the line for that. So we get developed the way somebody else wants us developed. There's a group of people in the city that always viewed Northport as a bedroom community, which I have no problem with being a bedroom community, but to who? To Sarasota? Sarasota is dining and entertainment. So that means that we're a bedroom community. So that's where all the waiters and waitresses will live in Northport. That's where we have low, they look at us as a low income housing. They need a place for the workers for Sarasota to live. So it makes sense for Sarasota, for Northport to be a bedroom community. But you're not going to have enough money to pay the bills.
Right.
And that's what's happening now.
And we're far from affordable living right now. Firsthand knowledge. It's a struggle to make anybody fit into a home in Northport or even Arcadia for that matter. It's getting more and more difficult to place workers anywhere.
Yep.
And the word bedroom community, I don't know that we're even going to keep that label for very long, because we are we're pushing our home prices beyond that belief. We're and the hospital that's coming, that's going to help anchor in some different changes that happen, but we know it's coming. And that's going to affect Sumter. But how is it going? I Is that the question you're asking too? How's it going to affect those four corners? How's it going to change it?
Yep.
And, and
Tell me what the vision is for those four corners. The city's vision. Tell me what they see going up on those four corners. And the next question is, what are you doing to ensure that that happens? And the answer is not code. It's never code. You know, every city in the United States has a variance. Okay, you know, you can go in and ask for a variance to a code. It's done by sign companies. It's done by developers. It's done all over the place.
right.
So do a flip on it and say, we'll build anything you want there as long as it does this. Tell me what the this is. What do you want on those four corners or the three corners?
So, you and I'm a
I'm sorry, you're
on
breaking
this
up.
spot. Um, if you were younger Peter Bartolotta in 40s and 50s, how about that? Uh,
Okay.
and you have the knowledge you have today. How would you start to push the right buttons today? Who would you go to first, and what would be your approach to start pushing those right buttons to get what you wanted?
I would probably find three people in the city that agree to a plan, and then I'd work to get those three people elected. And then I'd find two in the next election to get them elected. So we'd have 4 or 5 elected officials that share the same vision, and that hire a city manager who's got the skill set to execute that vision.
And I know the history of our town for 23 years. Do you ever see that? Um, Man, I actually wonder if we have that within Warm Mill Springs.
We don't have a clear vision on what anybody wants from Warm Mineral Springs.
Well, I know it's a park.
Yeah, that's what it is. And now they're going to take it and make it a park. And that means taxpayers' dollars and no revenue. And they're going to sell the adjacent 60 acres. Now, think about this for a minute. If you're a developer and you're going to invest in a 60-acre parcel, and let's say you're going to build a hotel and you're going to build amenities for the spring, and the city of Northport owns the spring, and we've got such a great track record on taking care of it and having visions for it and all of that, right?
Right.
Would you invest millions of dollars? Because if the spring goes away, your property, your investment goes down the tubes. I know what I would do. I'd build homes. I just build houses there. I wouldn't build anything that is an asset or that plays off of the spring, because I don't control the spring. And if I don't control the spring, my investment is in jeopardy. But that's what they're going to look to do, I think, because the Parks and Rec has taken over the springs, okay, which they've had before. You know, if we're up to me, I'd sell the whole thing. I'd just sell it to anybody that wants to do whatever they want on it.
Well, if I think that's on the table, to tell you
No,
the
it's
truth.
not. It's not. I believe the decision was made that it's now going to be run by Parks. It's in their budget now.
No, yeah, it's definitely that part is, but I think that 62 acres,
Yeah.
I think that's being evaluated to sell off.
Yeah. They're going to sell it. And you'll probably wind up with more homes.
Right. Yeah. We kind of talked about that the other night.
Yeah.
Um, the fact that everything seems to go, eh, and listen, it's a revenue generator. Homes are revenue. However you look at it, multi home units, um, condos, villas, what, however you want to deem that, services are better served because you've got a, a mass population in one area. So services are better, cheaper. So there's a lot of ways of looking at it, but we're going to lose 62 acres and and an opportunity that will never come back again,
Yep.
if we let it go. And I dare say that the people who have kind of lost their vision and um, their drive for what it could be, are the opposite group that want it to be a park and are going to be okay with it being left alone. Just put a couple buildings up and leave it like it is.
Yep.
And we're going to look at that piece one day, and I have a feeling we're going to wish, at least not us maybe, but future people are going to
I
look at
lost you.
it and say, I wish that we would
Yeah.
have done something.
Yeah. And the next one that's coming
I think
up
that the
is,
future is going to look.
I'm sorry.
Go
What?
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I missed what you said. The future is going to look.
The future is going to judge what's happening, basically.
Yeah. I agree.
You know,
The next
everything.
piece of property to watch is watch the property um, on Toledo and Price, and watch the property on Dallas White Park.
Right.
Dallas White, mark my words, is going to become apartments. Just what we need.
Yeah. Or
That,
well.
that's what Vision Northport wanted it to be a river walk. Remember that?
Yep. Sure enough. Sure enough. Well, I have to go because
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting and here's I don't want to cut you short, but you knew why I was going to cut you short.
I know.
Just so the listening audience knows, I am catching a plane and I have got to get inside. So all the listeners out there who are listening, please share this information. Join us in another month. Peter's going to be back on, but we're gonna talk about some more stuff because I want to. I think we need to start talking about the what the younger generation needs to take from what your knowledge is to start pushing the right buttons. I think the plan isn't what was, but if you don't start doing it now, you're never going to have it. And that's why I ask you that question. If you were younger, what would you do? We need some younger people to know what to do and to start rallying the troops that way.
Yeah, but the
Um,
young people can't run for office because the pay they get
right.
is it's less than you got to take a pay cut.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
And it's a full-time job according to every commissioner you talk to.
Right.
So something's wrong.
I know. All right. Well, it was nice talking with you. This is John Rawlings with Peter Bartolotta saying thanks for listening in. I hate to
Bye-bye.
cut you short, but I've got to go catch a flight, but I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. See you, buddy.